I want to discuss this one because this is also very important for engineering students, especially for those that's taking up subjects like fluid mechanics or hydraulics. Even in physics, this is also discussed. It's called the Reynolds number or the RE. All right. If you are familiar with this, leave a comment below. So we have the Reynolds number. RE is actually the ratio of the inertial resistance to the viscous resistance of flowing fluid. So we always do this I remember when we had our laboratory exercise about the flow of water or the fluid flowing, right? So we observed the flow of the liquid, right? So in that case, Reynolds number is involved. So for flowing fluid, so it is a ratio. And this is the ratio of the Reynolds number RE, initial forces divided by the viscous forces of the fluid. So we have here the value, the formula, rho VL divided by the mu. All right, so let's define the parameters in the formula. So we have, of course, the rho, like the small, what that looks like a P. So it is the density. This is the fluid's mass per unit volume, and usually it is given with this unit. So it represents inertia, all right? The density, the rho of the fluid represents inertia. So the denser the fluid, like water, has more mass and therefore more inertia, all right? The denser the fluid, it has more mass, that means it has more inertia than the less dense fluid moving in the same speed. All right, so you can just compare one fluid to another fluid. The other one has more mass, that means it's have more inertia, and the other one has less mass, that means it would be less inertia. The small v in the formula is the velocity, that is how fast the fluid is flowing, and usually it is given with units like this, units of speed, meters per second. It also represents inertia. So a faster moving fluid, it has more momentum, right? There's more momentum if the water is running fast, right? Or if the fluid is moving really fast, then there is more momentum in there. Therefore, the inertia is harder to overcome. So it might be very hard for you to stop the water or the fluid from moving. Why? Because there's actually more inertia there when the fluid is moving. So there's more momentum in there. The big L in the formula is a length. And this is actually very crucial or sometimes very tricky, because L actually depends in some situations, It's like, so for example, for fluid moving through a pipe, the L is actually the diameter of the pipe. It really depends on the situation, right? For a sphere moving through a fluid, like the ball that's falling through air, the L in the formula is the diameter of the sphere. For a fluid that's flowing over a flat plane, the L is the length of the plate. See? So it's kind of tricky, of what really L is. But it depends really on the situation or the condition, right? So you just have to remember some of these conditions here. And the mu, the denominator in the formula, is the dynamic viscosity, all right? It's the dynamic viscosity. This is the fluid's property that measures its resistance to flow. So this is actually how water resists the flow. So if it is viscous or if it's not viscous. So honey, for example, the sweet honey, it has much higher viscosity than water. So this is what we call a viscous force. So the higher viscosity would mean it is thicker, right? It's hard to move honey, right? When you scoop honey, sometimes it's really hard to scoop honey from a jar. That's because honey is viscous, So there is more viscous force in there in the honey compared to water. So the higher viscosity means it is actually thicker and it is better at suppressing chaos. All right. So that's the dynamic viscosity. Now let's imagine this idea. So if you discuss about this formula for Reynolds number Re, sometimes it's better to understand it if you actually look at it in this idea. It is actually a fight between two forces, no? So the Reynolds number is actually a fight between two forces. So imagine you're trying to push a heavy box across a floor, right? The inertia of the box resistance is starting to move. The heavier the box, more inertia. Right? That's understandable. The heavier the box, that means there's more inertia resisting. In a fluid, inertia is related to the mass and how fast it is moving. So the oomph that keeps the fluid going in its current direction, right? The inertia, right? The viscosity is the stickiness of the floor, right? Sticky carpet would have a high viscosity, harder to move the box if the floor is sticky, right? Because it resists the motion of the box. In a fluid, viscosity is the internal friction that tries to slow down the fluid down, and it makes it stick to the surface like the honey that we mentioned a while ago. So the Reynolds number, it is a single number that tells you which of these forces is winning the fight in the flowing fluid. All right. So if there's a flowing fluid, if you want to know who won, is it the fluid or is it the floor or whatever? So look at the Reynolds number because it tells you exactly which forces is winning the fight in a flowing fluid. So high Reynolds number, meaning the inertia dominates. All right. The fluid's momentum is so strong that it overcomes the stickiness or the viscosity of the fluid. So the flow overcomes chaotic, mixing, and unpredictable. So this kind of flow, when the high Reynolds number is high, is what we call the turbulent flow. All right. When Reynolds number is high, it is the kind of flow there of the fluid is turbulent flow. When the Reynolds number is low, that means what dominates there, so the one that is winning is viscosity is winning. The thickness is so strong that it smooths out any irregularities. And the flow that is involved, the fluid flow, if you want to describe the fluid flow when the Reynolds number is low, is a laminar flow, like more the cooler. These are the cooler flows, right? Laminar flow. And I have here a quick illustration of the Reynolds number, for example. So I know others have done this in the lab. No, so we have this device. So it's a water tank. So you put a red dye in there, and the dye would travel to this transparent tube, right? So you put a red dye, so you see the color traveling to this tube over here, a transparent tube. Now, if you see that the color or just travels in a straight line like this one, of course the water has the color, right? So, and if you see that the color just travels in a straight line, then that flow is a laminar flow. That means viscosity is winning over there in that case of the laminar flow. Now, if you see a little bit of like this, like it's what we call transitional. It's about to transition into something, right? So from laminar, then it begins to wiggle like this. It becomes to wiggle. The flow, the red dye there that you see in the tube, it begins to wiggle, then it is now in the phase of transitional. All right? And that means there is a struggle of whoever wins, a struggle between inertia and viscosity. So they're trying to like fight, right? But when you see something like this, that the wiggling is now becoming bigger and bigger, that means the momentum is so strong that inertia in this case has overcome viscosity and inertia is winning. And in that case, it is a turbulent flow. All right, so this is actually a very nice laboratory exercise. We've done this before. If you have done it before, please leave a comment below. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Yes, so because we exactly see what's happening, how it transitions from a laminar flow to a turbulent flow. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.